We're back here on National Geographic Weekend. I'm Boyd Matson.
I wonder if one bullet would do. As hard as my head is, it would probably take two, but I ain't got neither bullet nor gun. And I'm too blue to look for one.
And that music you're hearing is courtesy of Leyla McCalla and her band. They stopped by the studio to share some tunes from her new album, Vari-Colored Songs, a tribute to Langston Hughes. True Blue is one of 8 Langston Hughes poems to which Leyla McCalla has added music for this album. She's also included some Haitian folk songs in one of her own original compositions.
I wonder if one bullet would do. As hard as my head is, it would probably take two, but I ain't got neither bullet nor gun. And I'm too blue to look for one.
You took the poems of Langston Hughes and set some of them to music.
Mm-hmm.
Too Blue was about having the blues, but he had humor in his blues, talking about just not having the energy to get the bullet and gun to end it all.
Yeah, right. I think that, you find that kind of humor, I think, a lot in his poetry and in his work. And there's something so human about that, just feeling too depressed to kill yourself, as potentially offensive as that is. It's such a funny, it's a thing you can laugh about when you're depressed,
But he also was speaking at his time for the African-American experience.
Mm-hmm.
Does that message resonate here in the 21st century?
I believe it does. I certainly felt that way, and I think that that's a big reason why I started writing music to his poetry. It just, I just felt like it really was relevant, a lot of the stories in the poems and just the themes that kind of wind through,
And we can hear a little bit of it on Heart of Gold,
Yep.
which is the first song on your CD.
Mm-hmm.
So let's listen to that, and you can see how you're actually playing the cello by strumming it almost like a guitar. So let's give a listen.
If I had a heart of gold, there's some folks I know, I'd up and sell my heart of gold and head north with the gold. But I don't have a heart of gold, my heart's not even lead. It's made of plain old Georgia clay, and that's why my heart is red.
That's Heart of Gold from the new CD from Leyla McCalla, a tribute to Langston Hughes. It's the music. In fact, the words to that song were a poem of Langston Hughes, and the CD is called Vari-Colored Songs. You studied cello classical music?
Yeah, I started playing cello when I was in the 4th grade, and I still play. I make my living as a cellist, and I was really serious about classical music for most of my life.
Here on National Geographic Weekend, we're talking with Leyla McCalla about the music on her very first CD, Vari-Colored Songs. But the story of how you were discovered and how it's one thing to study music in college, but how do you take it to the next level and make a living at it? The story of how you were discovered is very interesting. It's better than American Idol, folks. You actually said, I'm not going to wait to get a record or a CD. I'm just going to go make music, even if it's playing on the streets. And what'd you do? Open your case?
Well, I opened my case for sure and took my cello out and set up a chair. But I used to travel with my bicycle and my cello on my back, and I used to bring a little crate with me, and I'd set up on the corner of Royal and Conti in New Orleans. Yeah.
I've always thought this would be fabulous because you see a lot of street performers got the hat out or the case open to throw money in. If you had really good musicians, could people tell the difference that are walking by?
I think so. I think people can tell the difference. That's one of the great things about playing on the street is that there's an immediacy in it. It's like people don't give money to just everybody unless they're, I guess there's a lot of people who just come to New Orleans and get drunk and want to spend some money. But
and
I think
what did you play? Did you play classical or New Orleans kind of music or everything?
I played classical music.
Classical?
Yeah, I played mostly Baroque music. I was playing Bach and Vivaldi, and I started learning old-time tunes and some Cajun tunes, and so I would mix that into some of the stuff I was playing. I'd up and sail, my heart was gold, and head north with the gold.
And now you're taking all of those influences and putting them into the sound on your first CD, Vari-Colored Songs. So let's listen to a little more of Heart of Gold and see how you're applying your cello and this music to Langston Hughes' poetry.
Georgia clay, and that's why my heart is red. I wonder why red clay is so red and Georgia sky so blue. I wonder why it's yes to me, but yes sir.